Satsebeli is a Georgian tomato sauce that's often compared to ketchup. But actually it's very different because of the herbs, hot chilies, and large amounts of garlic. It goes really well with shashlik and other grilled meats, but be warned, this is not an authentic version of the Georgian classic. It's one I discovered at an outdoor Russian restaurant intended only for Russians. When I told the cooks this is the best Satsebeli I'd ever tasted, luckily they actually told me what the surprising secret was. And it's far easier to make than the traditional sauce. Now, if you're Georgian, you might look down on this recipe as a travesty, but I'm telling you, the flavor of this is sensational, even though it breaks all the rules.
Your only real problem in making this recipe might be getting these authentic Russian pickled tomatoes, and they're real cheap. In U.S. dollars, these are less than $1 a jar. But you may have to go to a specialty Russian store to find. So you drain these off. They have some herbs and stuff that were used to pickle them. You don't have to be meticulous about this, but kind of wipe off the extra herbs. Get the tomatoes separated. Below, of course, you've got just the liquid. Now I've got this on a scale. I'm going to add the strained liquid to the tomatoes to bring it up to a total weight of 600 grams. So most of the liquid, but not all of it. And the rest of this is too much, so we're going to discard this. Now this goes into a blender. I got the blending started now, so I'm going to add the cornstarch. That's 1 teaspoon, 1.5 teaspoons, and the sugar is 2 tablespoons of sugar. Continue blending. Food mill set up with the fine perforated disc. One of the rare times I use that. I almost never use fine. This is actually really the only time I can ever think I've ever used this is for this particular sauce. But it does need it. Run it through this into a saucepan. And this is what you want to see. Almost everything went through, but not everything. Now this goes on the stove. When you have it up to a simmer, I've got a red serrano chili here. I've sliced in half and I've removed the seeds from it. That just goes in. We're going to pull that out later, of course, when we're actually ready. And this continues to simmer away until it's reduced in volume by about half and it's thickened. This is the level of simmering that you want to see during the cooking process. Not rapid boiling to where it's overflowing, but also not slow either. It needs to actually boil. When it's almost reduced by about half, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of paprika, or if you have volume 3 of my cookbook series, you're going to use the Hungarian spice mixture substitute, which is much more complex than plain paprika. You can use plain paprika, but the spice mix on in volume 3 is going to work much better. I'm going to reduce this just a little bit more, and then I'm going to add the vinegar and get the chili peppers out of there and bottle it, and it's all done.
The second volume of my cookbook is now available through Amazon and other booksellers. It covers the YouTube recipes from the last 8 months with more in-depth information. I received requests for the procedures on all recipes, and I've listened to you. Every recipe has step-by-step directions, and of course there are recipes that aren't on YouTube. But this is not just a recipe book. Far from it, as you can see from some of the topics scrolling by here. I'm certain that anyone who watches my channel and any serious cook will find this book a treasury of useful and new information you won't find anywhere else. If you want to know more about my adventures as a chef around the world and have some great laughs along the way, be sure to check out the video tour of my book, 40 Years in One Night. It's up on YouTube right now. Click the link. Also look for my cocktail book, Cocktails of the South Pacific and Beyond, Advanced Mixology, available through Amazon online.